I'm Chris Kubal. Here's a look at your local 5 weather impact forecast. Get used to 80s and 90s for the time being. A very summery looking forecast. It's going to start feeling just a touch warmer for Wednesday. However, next week is really where it's at. We'll see a little bit of a transition to a cooler period for the remainder of this week after Wednesday evening and night as a weak cold front settles through. Overnight into early Wednesday morning, still some pockets of valley fog possibility, otherwise mainly sunny skies. We go into the late afternoon and evening. Here's our cold front that's arriving, building up on the daytime heating and the moisture we have in place. A few showers and thunderstorms, especially over North Iowa. This feature will slowly work its way south and eastward with time, perhaps developing a complex of storms as it does move through. Still lingering into early Thursday morning, but generally drying, as you see there. Pulsing up a couple of pop-ups going into Thursday afternoon, but definitely that Wednesday night period is going to be the most soaking in the forecast. Into Friday, still a couple of bubblings trying to transpire, but I mentioned that Wednesday night period is going to be the time frame to watch. Level 1 and 2 risk across the northern and northwestern portion of Iowa, most notable into the northeastern section of the state with that level 2 risk. The way I'm looking at things here in central Iowa, I don't really like the severe prospects on a widespread scale. Of course, you can never rule out something rogue, but we'll be watching for damaging wind, large hail, perhaps a spin-up tornado. Flash flooding risk is a little bit higher than the others, and that's just because we have a few spots that can't tolerate very much rainfall at this stage. Now, there will be some streaks of heavier rain in there. If we start to see things rising 3 or 4 inches, that could be problematic, and even lesser amounts, especially on the northern and eastern sections of the Des Moines Metro. We're just a little bit more volatile there, so I have to watch things very closely. In the end, I think some streaks of 1 to 2 inches are going to be possible here, but thankfully storms will be remaining quite progressive in nature, and they won't park it over any one spot for too long. 69 degrees tonight with our overnight low, and then 87 for Wednesday. Storms building in, I'd say mainly after 4 o'clock across the north. May not get into the metro, though, until we get into the evening stages of the day. Your forecast highs across central Iowa for Wednesday, if they populate here, upper 80s and low 90s slated. Those warmest readings will be across the southeastern portion of the state overall. All right, so now let's get into that heat dome. For next week, it's going to be returning, and it's going to be a little bit of a different variety compared to the one we had last week, if you remember. This dome is taking over the western 2/3 of the country. And so what this means is that area of high pressure is mainly to our west in the upper levels. This steers a jet stream way up to the north and makes it harder for those little ripples of energy to penetrate into this heat dome. A generally dry looking forecast is what we're expecting, at least Sunday going through next Wednesday. But what this also does is it takes that moisture transport, it's more east to west across the south, and this closes off the Gulf from getting that moisture up into Iowa. So we don't see that huge rise as we go through this stretch. Sure, there will be some humidity in there, yes, but it's not going to be off the charts. So we're holding short of any weather impact alerts. Some heat indices may rise a few degrees higher, but it doesn't look like a scenario that bodes well for seeing widespread triple digits. Hot, yes. Modestly humid, okay. But we're not jumping off the charts here. Rain chances will be limited in the Sunday through Wednesday time frame as we go through next week as that heat dome holds overhead.